as you and your companion leave the camp to hunt and to forage. You hear the trickling of water up ahead. Pushing through the thick undergrowth, come upon a narrow stream. The water is crystal clear and tumbles across moss-covered rocks. You hear snuffling and slow clip-clop of hooves as an enormous white stag appears on the other side of the stream. The creature is easily 7 or 8 feet tall, with shaggy white fur on its chest. Its broad antlers must be 10 feet wide from end to end. They are rich with golden colour, and veins of vibrant green running through them. The stag's piercing black eyes focus on you, and you can feel it assessing you. After a moment, it leans down to drink from the stream. Your party could feast for days on the meat harvested from this stag. But what repercussions could lie in wait? Welcome to Beyond the Woods, an unforgiving dark fantasy world for 5th edition inspired by ancient Irish myth and legend. It allows you to play a classic hex crawl or Wexmaster style campaign using 5e rules that you know and love. So Beyond the Woods is set in TTRPG, which is a brand new setting. Centuries ago, the Slua, a special legion of the accursed dead, swept across TTRPG and left it in ruins. The cities, the villages, the castles all left in ruin, as well with the inhabitants all left as husks of their previous selves. Your ancestors were some of the few that actually did survive and fled to the last city of Cage Dark. Huddled within the protective light of the Golden Oak, this last city stands as our last bastion against the Slua. But what happens in the Golden Oak starts to falter and weaken. So when we're talking about dark fantasy, we're more so talking about like kind of mysterious and creepiness kind of to do with the Fae and all this, instead of purely just like horrible sights and blood and gore and everything. So a little bit more of like mysterious dark fantasy. So this setting also brings along 4 new lineages that you can create your characters backstories with, and also 6 new classes, and one in particular is the storyteller, which I actually really can't wait to see in action. I might try out itself. The reason why the storyteller class is so interesting to me is that Ireland has a very rich history in oral storytelling, and so the fact of incorporating this kind of almost seems like it comes across as a bit of like a bard, but a lot more interesting. So reciting certain verses can give you your party like a plus to certain attacks or a certain like movement or something like that. So then focusing on combining certain verses with your storyteller can give your party certain buffs, and that's only just the beginning. Like I haven't even got to see in detail, but the idea of the storyteller class really interests me. I can't wait to get hands on a deeper kind of look at it. As I mentioned, this game heavily relies on a hex crawl. Even the quick start alone gives you tons of rules and kind of guidelines for your GMs and how to run a hex crawl. I personally actually have never played a hex crawl to this date, so that's another reason why I'd be very interested in trying this out. So we have this beautiful map, and essentially you're going to be given, like the players are going to be given free reign of this map and choose what next hex they kind of want to travel towards, which don't let that intimidate you as a DM, because from what I can see, there's good kind of information there for the DMs and saying like being able to move items around into different forests. Let's say, you know, if your players are going one direction over another, you can potentially move one place of interest from this forest to that forest. So there's a nice bit of customization to whereas like all the points of interest are, it seems, which means you're not too locked in. Like if your main objective is here and your hex crawl is leading you off like completely the wrong direction, you can still kind of keep the party on track in a sense, while still letting them explore, because that's the fun of it, right? You're really just letting your players pick and choose where to go more than anything at all, because you just go exploring when the hex and we'll see what's in that hex. You know, that's why I kind of like that element of the randomness of like what will you discover. And the DM might not even know. It could be pure random. Like maybe get a table, we'll roll on a table and see what's in that hex. Very interesting. Additionally, we have new enemies as well, which are all based off some form of Irish folklore, Irish legends, which, you know, it's being Irish. As obviously our channel is Irish. It's really nice to see certain kind of hints, like certain things like fairy forts. I've seen a mention of fairy forts, I think, at one point. I can't remember whereabouts it was in the quick start or which part it was, but if anyone doesn't know what a fairy fort is, it's I don't know if they're actually I don't know if they're known outside of Ireland. As I understood it, a fairy fort was like a ring of trees, and I remember when I was growing up and I used to live in the south of Ireland, out in the countryside. So there would be like farmers' fields all off and along the sides of us and everything. And I always remember there was this one huge fairy fort, just this large ring of trees, like impressive trees, and the farmer never ever touched it. Always left it there, and it was like awkwardly in place in the center of their field almost as well. So it had to be a bit of an inconvenience and everything. But there's always been this superstition around touching fairy forts in Ireland, where it's either bad luck or brings a curse upon you, that sort of thing. So they're actually held, and kind of like most of them anyway, for that, what I remember, are always treated very, very like kind of carefully and like left alone as much as possible. And I can't remember off the top of it, but there's also like a story about getting lost in a fairy fort, how it can confuse you with time-wise and stuff like this. Ireland has such fun and interesting I'm going to use the word superstitions. I'm not sure if it's the right word, but it's like old legends, let's say, and kind of like be wary of XYZ. And so it's really fun to see these start to be incorporated into the D&D system. So that little blurb I kind of read at the beginning to try and set a little bit of a scene, that was from the Kickstarter guide, and the Kickstarter guide is 45 pages and gets you going, gives you some pre-made characters. Very nice Kickstarter guide, I think, in my opinion. It gives you a small segment of the map to work through as well, so you can actually get a bit of experience with the hex crawl. That's completely free. It's free to download and try it out before you even jump in. But honestly, I've got a lot of confidence in this. Like, I love the look of it, love everything about it. So I personally have backed it already. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I think next year, set to hopefully ship next year. So I highly encourage you to go and try this out. Bring it to, if you're a player, maybe prep this, so if your DM ever someone can't show up, Becca will run this and we'll have some fun with this. I'm going to see if I can get this going on our channel at some point to actually run this as maybe a quick start guide as a one shot to get a taste of it. So to give you guys a little bit about who produced this. So this setting is produced by oldoakgames, which is an Irish-owned tabletop role-playing game studio founded by the award-winning writer and designer Emmett Byrne. So Emmett is the CEO and founder of oldoakgames, and he has a very strong resume when it comes to TTRPGs, in my opinion. He's had involvement on Doctor Who, The Lord of the Rings, and Warhammer, but also being the lead designer and writer of Soulbound, the first ever tabletop role-playing game set in the Warhammer Age of Sigmar universe. And he's also designed a number of successful Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition games, including Broken Weave, and now Beyond the Woods. It's absolutely, I love trying to support like local Irish like brands and Irish just shops, anything like that, especially when it's something that's in my topic of interest, something that I like, a hobby that I really enjoy. And honestly, like, we're not being paid to do this or anything like that. We reached out to oldoakgames to see if we could get a little the press pack, so we have some of the art to show off and stuff like that. But honestly, so savage. Like, I'm looking forward to this so much. Really can't wait to see what comes out of this setting. Really excited. And it's just really fun to get to delve into some aspects of my own culture that I might not be 100% familiar with, It's even, they have it's kind of a mix. So some of the words and some of the creatures, some of the locations are Irish words, and then we also have kind of a mix of hybridization of like what would you call it? It's almost like Berlicus in a way, but not really Berlicus. But it's kind of like, it's like a phonetic spelling of the Irish words is also used for some of the place names as well. Which means if you're learning Irish, you'll get a bit of training out of that too. So it's really nice just to see Irish kind of incorporated into some form of 5e setting. And maybe there's other ones out there, I don't know, but this one, I'm really looking forward to this one. So if any of this video has really taken your interest, it is still live on Kickstarter on the 16th of March. I'm dating when I'm recording this. It's still live for another 25 days, so should still be live by the time I get this video out. People have smashed the goal in 84 minutes. They reached the €20,000 goal, which is savage. Not only that, it is currently over 4 times the goal at the moment. It is now at €86,650 funded, which is amazing. That's great to see. And on top of that, there's now also hit additional, I can't remember where it is. Let me see where it is. Kind of like additional stretch goals. So yeah. So original was 20,000. And now we've hit the 35,000, the 50,000, and the 75,000 stretch goals. So on top of what you usually get in the basic patch, basic the basic category. We're going to get custom character sheet, and a new guest writer who was Chris Doyle, who's a designer for Dungeon Crawl Classics. That's pretty cool. A brand new adventure in the setting, and each of the 6 core classes are getting a 3rd subclass now, right in the 75. And if we hit the next stretch goal, there's going to be another adventure written. Amazing. So cool. 25 days left. See if we can get that 100,000. That would be really nice. I personally myself have gone for the slipcover bundle. So you get the 2 kind of the Tyrannaska setting book, and then you get the core rule book as well. And I think it's slipcase set is currently €125 for two books. And you, on top of that, I believe you get the core rulebook, you get the setting guide, the Game Master screen, which is gorgeous, by the way. I'll show you the artwork that'll be on the Game Master screen. It is amazing. The fold-out map and sticker set, and everything from the digital tier, plus all the stretch goals. €125. I know you not until August next year. It'll be a very pleasant surprise come August next year when you're sitting there minding your own business. Holy shit, a package from me in the past. I honestly, guys, if you're looking for something to kind of throw a bit of money towards, and you like even though, like, I've been kind of leaning away from 5e sort of stuff, but this is something just I haven't got to experience yet, so I'd 100% be coming back to 5e. Like, I've started to try and branch out. I'm more interested in Daggerheart and stuff like this, but this really interests me. I love the setting so far. Love the artwork, by the way. I don't know if I've got to mention. I can't find who. Sorry, I'm a bit stupid here. I can't find who created the artwork. It should be somewhere on their website, I imagine. But the artwork is fucking phenomenal already. Some of the pre-main character classes, I'll kind of put some of them up here on the screen, are unreal. Because you have some of the new lineages as well, such as the Puka and the Aishi, fairy folk, and the Fearsome and Baloran. Like, I speak Irish, and some of these words I struggle sometimes. A bit rusty. But some amazing artwork. If I can find the name, I'll put them in. I'm going to put all the links down in the description anyway to support their Kickstarter. I'll put a link to their website, all that sort of stuff. And we'll see if I kind of would be interested to chat to Emmett himself, actually. So I might get in contact with Emmett and see if he'd be willing to have a conversation with us about this and how, because part of me would like to one day maybe work on something of my own. Not sure if I do it for 5e, but make something of my own. So I'd be curious to see the process, or just be able to pick somebody else's brain about this and see what else he's planned as well, because this for Old Oak Studios, if I'm correct, I believe this is like their first proper. Let me double check before I say that. Yeah, so I think this is their first proper release with Old Oak Games. And before it's even, now, I know, preempting here, Kickstarter has been a smash already. I am very excited to see what Old Oak Games has coming out in the future. So I'd like to be able to just pick his head and see if we can get a little insider look. So guys, even if I haven't been able to convince you, go follow these guys. I'll put their socials down in the description as well. Go check them out, and they post on their own socials, giving you a bit more information about different classes and settings and stuff like that too. And yeah, appreciate you if you go check them out. They seem like a great Irish group so far, and I can't wait to get my hands on these books. Alright guys, see you in the next one.